Dorian mode or Doric mode can refer to three very different but interrelated subjects, one of the ancient Greek harmoniai, one of the medieval musical modes, or, most commonly, one of the modern modal diatonic scales, corresponding to the white notes from D to D, or any transposition of this, for example the scale from C to C with both E and B flatted. Greek Dorian mode. The Dorian mode is named after the Dorian Greeks. Applied to a whole octave, the Dorian octave species was built upon two tetrachords separated by a whole tone, running from the hypate meson to the neat dietzeugmenon. In the enharmonic genus, the intervals in each tetrachord are quarter-tonia major third. In the chromatic genus, semitone minor third. In the diatonic genus, semitone tone. In the diatonic genus, the sequence over the octave is the same as that produced by playing all the white notes of a piano ascending from E to E, E F G A B C D E, a sequence equivalent to the modern Phrygian mode. Placing the single tone at the bottom of the scale followed by two conjunct tetrachords, produces the Hyperdorian octave species, A B C D E F G A. Placing the two tetrachords together and the single tone at the top of the scale produces the Mixolydian octave species, a note sequence equivalent to modern Locrian mode. Medieval and modern Dorian mode. Medieval Dorian mode. The early Byzantine Church developed a system of 8 musical modes, which served as a model for medieval European chant theorists when they developed their own modal classification system starting in the 9th century. The success of the Western synthesis of this system with elements from the fourth book of De Institutione Musica of Boethius, created the false impression that the Byzantine octachords were inherited directly from ancient Greece. Originally used to designate one of the traditional harmoniai of Greek theory, the name was appropriated by the 2nd century theorist Ptolemy to designate his 7 tonali, or transposition keys. 4 centuries later, Boethius interpreted Ptolemy in Latin, still with the meaning of transposition keys, not scales. When chant theory was first being formulated in the 9th century, these 7 names plus an 8th, Hypermixolydian, were again reappropriated in the anonymous treatise Alia Musica. A commentary on that treatise, called the Nova Expositio, first gave it a new sense as one of a set of 8 diatonic species of the octave, or scales. In medieval theory, the authentic Dorian mode could include the note bar and registered trademark by license, in addition to bar and registered trademark. The same scalar pattern, but starting a 4th or 5th below the mode final D, and extending a 5th above, was numbered as mode 2 in the medieval system. This was the plagal mode corresponding to the authentic Dorian, and was called the Hyperdorian mode. In the untransposed form on D, in both the authentic and plagal forms the note C is often raised a car and registered trademark to form a leading tone, and the variable 6th step is in general bar and registered trademark in ascending lines and bar and registered trademark in descent. Modern Dorian mode. The modern Dorian mode, by contrast, is a strictly diatonic scale corresponding to the white keys of the piano from D to D, or any transposition of its interval pattern, which has the ascending pattern of whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, or abbreviated, WHWWWHW, alternatively, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, tone, or TST-TTST. It can also be thought of as a scale with a minor 3rd and 7th, a major 2nd and 6th, and a perfect 4th and 5th. It may be considered an excerpt of a major scale played from the pitch a whole tone above the major scale's tonic, that is, a major scale played from its 2nd scale degree up to its 2nd degree again. The resulting scale is, however, minor in quality, because, as the D becomes the new tonal center, the Fa minor 3rd above the D becomes the new mediant, or 3rd degree. If a triad is built upon the tonic, it is a minor triad. Examples of the Dorian mode include, the D Dorian mode, which contains all notes the same as the C major scale starting on D. The G Dorian mode, which contains all notes the same as the F major scale starting on G. The or unregistered trademark Dorian mode, which contains all notes the same as the Ga unregistered trademark major scale starting on or unregistered trademark. The Dorian mode is a symmetric scale, meaning that the pattern of whole and half notes is the same ascending or descending. The modern Dorian mode is equivalent to the natural minor scale but with a sixth degree raised a half step. Confusingly, the modern Dorian mode resembles the Greek Phrygian harmoniai in the diatonic genus. The only difference between the Dorian and Aeolian scales is whether or not the sixth is major. The I, 4, and B triads of the Dorian mode are minor, major, and minor, respectively, instead of all minor as in Aeolian. In both the Dorian and Aeolian, strictly applied, the dominant triad is minor, in contrast to the tonal minor scale, where it is normally major. It is also worth noting that the sixth scale degree is often raised in minor music, just as it is often lowered in the Dorian mode. The major subdominant chord gives the Dorian mode a brighter tonality than natural minor. The raised sixth is a tritone away from the minor third of the tonic. The subdominant also has a mixolydian quality. The Dorian mode is harmonically similar to the ascending melodic minor scale, except for the major seventh degree in minor. This means that the dominant chord is a minor triad in the Dorian but a major one in minor keys. A second harmonic difference is the subdominant chord, which is major in the Dorian mode but minor in minor keys, because of the minor sixth scale degree. It is because of the similarity that the Dorian is also known as the jazz minor scale. Notable compositions in Dorian mode: traditional, Drunken Sailor, Scarborough Fair, classical, the A Incarnatus in the Credo movement of Beethoven's Missa Solemnis. Jazz, Maiden Voyage by Herbie Hancock. The composition takes an AABBA form with the A sections in G Dorian and the B sections in Aeolian. Milestones by Miles Davis, Wa Como Va by Tito Puente, popularized by Santana. So What by Miles Davis. The composition takes an AABA form with the A sections in D Dorian and the B section in A unregistered trademark Dorian. Popular, Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles is often cited as a Dorian modal piece, and while the melody line is a Dorian melody, the chord progression is in Aeolian. Paradise by Coldplay, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, Wicked Game by Chris Isaak, Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars. See also, Kafi, the name used in Hindustani music for the equivalent scale. Karahara Priya, the name used in Carnatic music for the equivalent scale. References